I'm your host, Kyle Walden, and welcome to another episode of High Desert Heathenry. All right, everybody, I've got an update. I've washed my first batch of traps. They're outside. That way I can leave them out there for 24 hours, get them, let them get a little bit of surface rust on them. I actually went and picked up a couple more body grip traps, and I picked up just one more dogless, leg trap. So, along with that, I was also able to get, let me see here what this is, trap and snare dip from Dakota Line. I'll show you that here in a second. And I got 4 bricks of odorless trap wax, along with just a little bit of fish oil as a lure. I was going to get some coyote urine and some other things, but I just didn't want to spend all the money at this time. I'll probably go back and get some more, depending on what I'm trapping, where I'm trapping, etc. But I'm going to go ahead and show you what I do have. Okay, so here is the Dakota Line trap and snare dip. Pretty awesome, nice and dark. I think it's an earth tone black. So, pretty cool. You have to mix it with water, of course. And then I got 4 of these right here. So, hopefully this works out good. I think I've got about a dozen traps total. Some of them are small, some of them are large. I've got a variety of traps. And then some good old fish oil here. So I did not pay $7.99 for this little bottle of fish oil. I only got it because it was on sale. Otherwise, because of the price, I would have just got the coyote urine and other stuff. But yeah, so hopefully this is just, stinky enough to help attract, some of the critters over to, especially those critters right there. Aha. But yeah, try to attract them to my traps. Here in about, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, 45 minutes, I'm going to go and I'm going to pull the traps out of the soapy water, rinse them really, really well, kind of air dry them inside, and then I'm going to stick them outside. They'll probably get frosted just because it's cold as heck right now. Everyone knows it. It's, almost Thanksgiving. That's tomorrow. So I'll give you a video update on Thanksgiving and see how that all goes. But that's as simple as it is. I'm just in the process of getting the traps ready. I'll have to make another video over the weekend when I actually go out and find a good area to place some of these traps. I've been looking for some of the coyote dens that are in the area because we have a high amount of coyotes right now. I don't really know what to say besides that. We just got to find them. I'll probably go out, sight in an AR-15 tomorrow morning and get that ready to shoot coyotes also in case I see them out there. I'd like to have maybe a 17 HMR or something a little faster than a 223, maybe a little bit more cost effective. I haven't checked on the ammo for that type of caliber. My dad does have a 17 HMR. He might let me borrow to go out and get coyotes, but I'm not going to try to use his firearms to fulfill my needs. So with that being said, let's go on to the next step and see where that takes us. Also, a big shout out to my dad's coworker, who is also a jiu-jitsu practitioner, as we are. He makes homemade mead, and this is the second bottle he's gifted us. I'm the only one who drinks it. You can see I've been drinking it. I got this bottle last night, and it's super good. This particular bottle is a little less sweet. It's kind of more like a wine flavor. The other bottle was much more, how do you say it? It's just sweet like honey, like Viking's Blood brand would be. This is different, but it's still very, very good. All the flavor is still there, just without the sweetness. But thank you if you ever end up watching these videos. Thank you for providing this for us because it's excellent, and I hope that you keep working on doing this for us. Thanks. And now you can see I've got a variety of traps. I've got some leg holds, got some body grips. So with this, I've let them rust just a little bit, right? Get that surface corrosion on there. I've got my Dakota Line brand earth tone black dip. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in a 5-gallon bucket here in a second, and then I'm gonna dip these, and then I'm gonna heat some wax, and I'm gonna dip them in wax, and I'm just gonna go through and film it. That way you guys can see how I'm prepping these traps. This will be my first time doing this, so any constructive criticism is very helpful to me, to be honest, and I'm just kind of winging it and doing the best I can after watching other people's videos and reading a lot of books. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first things first, I've got the dye pre-mixed in here. The can prescribed 1 can, so 1 part dye with 1.5 parts water. So it's a little bit chilly out here. It says it likes it to be about 70 degrees with low humidity. So for this, I ended up just putting pretty warm water in there because the air temperature out here is kind of chilly. I have pre-mixed it with a stick. I'm gonna go ahead and stir it up really good again, regardless. And then I'm just going to use this nice coat hanger here to dip the traps completely in here. Before I do that, I'm actually gonna go and I'm going to put some tags on here, my name tags, so that those aren't glinting in the sun and shiny. And then I'll go ahead and start dipping. Okay, so I've got my traps dipped. They're actually drying really fast. So what I'm gonna do is, I've got plenty of this dye left, of course. I'm actually gonna dip them a second time to make sure I get a really good coat of the dye on here. And then once I've let them air dry out here in the sun for, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, and I know that it's really dry, by that time I should have the wax completely melted, and then I'll be able to dip them in the wax, and then I'm just gonna put them right back on this piece of cardboard, let them dry out again, and at that point, they should be ready to use. Okay, I got my traps done. If you look in here, I've still got a lot of dye left. I could probably even dip them a third time, to be honest. That way I just know that there's no rusty spots, no exposed metal, and I'm gonna do it. I know this looks like a mess, but I've got the traps dyed. I'm gonna let them sit here for half an hour to an hour, make sure they're entirely dry and everything's just good to go. And then I will dip them in wax. I'll show you that process, and at that point, they're completely ready for use. All I have to do is try not to touch them that much unless I'm wearing gloves. I'm gonna put them in a clean bucket that I have and use that bucket as part of my backpack for when I actually head out to set these. Okay, so I've got my wax in this pot here. It's not the best pot, not the best rig, because you can see I've got it on a grill that I'm just heating up. It shouldn't get too hot too fast, that way my wax is not set on fire. But I'm just gonna let this sit here and get warm enough to melt these cubes of wax down. And then we'll go from there once this is all liquefied and just simply dip them in. When you dip them in, you want the trap to not look white when you dip it in, because the color of the trap indicates its temperature, right? So wax looks white when it's cold and it's very clear when it's hot. So you want to dip your trap in the wax, and once it's liquid, and let the trap come to the same temperature as the wax so it looks clear on the trap. At that point, once it's been fully submerged and dipped, simply pull it back out, set it on the cardboard, and then let it dry, and the trap will be ready for use. Hey, look at that. We're getting partway there. Just a little bit longer and this stuff will be ready. Here we are. Got the wax melted. I'm going to go ahead and grab the coat hanger here, and I'm going to try to keep this off of the burner because I'm not trying to spill wax all over this grill. And then I'm just going to, I might dip one or two, put it back on the grill to keep it warm. I don't know what I'm going to have to do to keep that wax from solidifying, because it is... Ooh, that's pretty warm. So let's just do it. I actually just started to hear that sizzle. So let's do it. I know this view isn't the best, but I just gotta get this done fast. So I'm letting it soak, like I was saying. I don't want it to be white. I want the metal to heat up. There we go. Now it looks just like water. Take it, pull it out, let the wax drip off, and then I'm going to take it, just set it right back down on the cardboard. Go to the next one. I want to try to move fast so that I do not let this wax completely cool down 100%, because I just need to adhere to these traps. I need everything to go right, you know what I mean? That's a little guy. So that little trap, I'm actually going to use that. I got some gopher mounds here in the yard. I'm going to try to trap me the little gopher here. So this is not a fast process by any means. You just got to be patient. Take the time to let the metal get to temperature. Once the metal is at the same temperature as the wax and it's not white looking on the inside, then you're good to go. Even with this, I'm actually probably going to sit it back up here. It's important when you're doing this to be very careful to monitor your temperature, because the wax can set on fire, and initially started to sizzle when I first pulled it off here. So the main thing I'm doing is watching to make sure that the trap gets the temperature as it is right now, and then I'm going to take this pot and just bring it back over here and let it drip, and then I'll set it here on the cardboard and go to the next one. Now this is a really small pot, so it's going to be a challenge to get some of these larger body grip traps in here. So what I'm going to have to do is keep it over this grill, that way I can keep the wax hot and kind of roll it around on the inside to get this thing completely coated and completely into temperature. Bigger traps, they're not going to do so well with this setup that I got, so I'm just going to have to deal with it as they are. I'm not too worried about them. They're going to be submerged in water, and I'm just going to have to deal with that anyway and probably replace them every year, maybe every 2 years. That's what I'm anticipating, but we'll just see how that goes. If you're new to trapping like I am, you'll be surprised to see that trapping supplies, traps in general, all the accessories are actually relatively cheap. They're actually get cheaper when you buy them in bulk. It just depends on also the brand of traps, the brand of lures, baits that you use, etc. So you want to make sure that it's in your budget and you're getting the right traps for whatever you're trapping. I plan on getting muskrats, beavers, certain water-bearing animals and things, whatever they're out here, and then I'm going to use these other ones for coyotes and raccoons and skunks. So we're going to see how all of that goes. My main priority here is honestly at this point to get these things entirely coated with a layer of wax. That way, at least the body grip traps are protected from water when I fully submerge them in order to catch beavers and things of that nature. Woo! You see the flames coming up right here? That's just from a little bit of wax spilling off. So I've got to let that burn off now. In all reality, I probably should have gotten more wax than what I did, but this was my first time ever doing any of this. So I need to just learn. You know, experience and failure is the best teacher. And I can't call this a failure by any means, but it is, it's more difficult than I thought it was going to be, just trying to find the right pots and stuff. I know a lot of people like to use turkey fryers and things of that nature because the pot is so huge. You can put a large volume of liquid in them, but also you can fit larger traps inside of them and fully submerge them with ease in comparison to this little black pot I'm using on a barbecue grill. This is not the ideal way to do it. I do not recommend doing this. I do recommend using a turkey fryer for both your dye and for your wax. So you can see, this is what I'm talking about. You see how the trap is white? I'm gonna let this get warm. You can see this stuff is starting to bubble a little bit, which is not ideal. So I'm actually gonna pull it off the burner here in a minute, but you can see the inner part of the coil right down in there is starting to turn dark again, that's what you want. You want everything to turn dark. That way, when you pull it out, it doesn't have an excess huge cake of wax on it. Some of my traps do have that just because of the size. It was really hard for me to submerge it, so part of it just never got to temperature. I'm just gonna have to deal with that. They're gonna be buried, they're gonna be submerged. It is what it is. It's my first time, but see how it's starting to change color already? That's what you want. You want it to get completely dark and not have any of that white wax built up on there. That way when you pull it out, it all drips off and you've just got a very, very fine layer of wax. And that's the reason you dye it, so that it's not bright white, it's not shining, it's just a dark, protected layer, and it looks normal. At least it looks normal to the animals, right? Okay, so some of my traps have a lot of wax on them. I'm just gonna have to work with it and maybe brush a little bit off, whatever it takes to get them right. Some of my some of the traps are perfect. They're not that waxy. They look absolutely like textbook perfect, just because they were the right size for me to completely submerge them, let them heat properly, and then pull them out. While the other ones, you know, one side would be sticking out of the wax, and it just wasn't ideal. I just didn't have the equipment to do it 100% right, so I did the best that I could. With this, overall, I'm pretty pleased with what I've accomplished here. So the main thing is just let these cure all the way. I'm gonna let them sit here for another hour or so, whatever it takes. It's pretty cold outside right now, actually, so I'm gonna let these completely harden up and just be good to go. And then probably tomorrow, or you know, over the weekend, however it works out, I'm gonna go through and set these. I may be able to go down to a couple areas right now and use these body grips, so I'm gonna try to do that. I've already talked to a few people that are willing to show me some good spots that they've seen beavers and such, so I'm gonna do my best. Like I was saying, you can see here, some of these traps look absolutely phenomenal. They're dark in color, there's barely any buildup wax, but a couple of them were very, very built up with wax. So that's not what you want. You don't want the white caked on wax. You want them to look dark still, and that's the purpose of dyeing them and then waxing them to, one, hold the dye in, two, you want to make sure that they're protected from water, rust, just the environment. So learn from my mistakes and just do better than me, hopefully. All right, look at this. I even got a little bit of dye on my face. Oh, I'll go wash it off here in a minute. No big deal. But I'm going to conclude this video here. I've got the traps prepped. I'm expecting some friends and family, of course, over because today is Thanksgiving. And with that, I do want to wish you all a very pleasant and blessed Thanksgiving. I hope that all of you stay safe and all of you get to enjoy this holiday with your family and your friends as it should be enjoyed. Enjoying each other's company and being thankful for all of the wonderful things we have here in the United States of America. May the gods watch over all of us and smile upon us. Thank you so much. And I end this video with a toast. Skål to you, the viewers. Thank you so much for everything. And please like, share, and subscribe, as always. And until next time, be safe. Yee-hee!